Between Escrows. I am one of your hosts, Amy Scruggs, and this is
Roger Savvy, Ambassador of Optimism, and you surely have landed at the right place.
This is the show for you if you are interested in growing your relationship building, your sales, your understanding of your business, and how to grow and be stable and enjoy it with the Ambassador of Optimism. I am a branding coach. You are at the right place. We have amazing episodes coming up. You don't want to miss it. We're back.
We're back. Hey, Amy.
Back. Hello, Roger, one of my favorite humans in the entire world.
Ditto. Same for you.
I am so excited. Thank you to everyone who's joining us, whether you're watching or listening to this later on one of your favorite streaming platforms, or you're here with us live. If you are with us live right now on one of these platforms, you can comment. We are going to be able to acknowledge that. We're going to put your comment up on the screen. We want to hear your questions. We want to hear from you. And we also will get it after if you choose to do that when you are enjoying this show. But I have so much to learn today. And I know this is going to surprise all of you, but I'm actually going to be much more quiet because we have an expert coming in to talk about this incredible topic today. Roger, I know that there's something really special for you that you see taking place for this on from a human aspect when we talk about building. I mean, who doesn't think about dreaming that big, beautiful house on top of the hill someday, right? What are your thoughts on this?
Absolutely. Good. And always good to see you, Amy. So, yeah, we've got this expert coming on, Rich Clissold, and we're going to love on him. But before we talk about builders, lenders, permits, rates, or construction timelines, I think it's important to remember what a home has always represented in America, right? For generations, the idea of home ownership has been deeply woven into the American dream, not just because someone owns four walls and a roof, but because home represents something emotional. It represents safety. It represents closing the door at night and hearing your children laughing down the hallway, right, Amy? And it represents stability in an unstable world. It represents roots, identity, community, legacy, and in many ways, builders have quietly helped shape the emotional landscape of America for decades. They don't just build homes, Amy. They build places where birthdays happen, where families recover from hard times, right? Where dreams begin again, where people feel they belong. And so before I get off my soapbox, and what fascinates me behind that every home are people that most consumers never really see. The builder carrying the risk, the realtor holding the emotional pieces together, the lender providing certainty, which is what we do, right? So that's why we're so excited today to hear from an expert who knows everything about lending and building and the phasing of it. But it's the human side we're interested in, right? Amy, back to you.
You know, you just made me picture like a block party. You made me picture like it's not just the home, but what about the homes on that street too? And the celebrations and the neighbors and the community and coming together. Each home is the start of what becomes a community, which becomes our life. So I think that's pretty incredible. I know that landscape changed in 2008. Can you share a little bit on your thoughts on what you noticed changed in 2008 when it comes to with builders?
All right. Yep. You know, I got a little text that someone said they can see me, but they can't hear me. So I don't know what that means. So I'll let you.
Thank you for letting us know. If you know, let us always go comment and let us know if there's an issue. And I have a big booming voice. If you can't hear this, I'm sorry, and you're welcome. Roger, you.
So I don't know if there's any way you could troubleshoot my sound. I don't know, but I checked it was before and it seemed fine. But you know, after 2008, Amy, most of the Great Recession, most of the builders just went away. They just went away. And they were already behind the population growth. But on average now, builders are 12, 13, maybe 14 years behind the population growth. So there is this massive demand for homes because it's so woven into the American fabric. So there's there's demand and there's a lack of supply, and builders are so ready to talk to people who want to experiment with the American dream, right?
They are ready, and we are ready. And I don't think that we've had this conversation yet since we started this show. And so we reached out to someone that we trust in this space when we're talking about that financing, when we're talking about supporting our builders. And it's Rich Clissold, Juris Doctorate. I think I said that correctly. And welcome, Rich. I'm bringing him up. Oh, where's my applause? Where's my applause?
Yeah, we got to applause for you. Here's the wonderful Rich. Hey, Rich.
Hello. Really glad to be here with you, Amy and Roger.
It's wonderful.
Oh, good. Well, Jeff can hear us, and we thank you for Jeff Blackwell, who's paying attention and says he can hear us. So you're welcome, and we're sorry. I'm going to leave it to you guys.
That's so good. Rich, Amy and I get the privilege of working with you, and to have our builder lending division headed up by you is a great honor. And you crossed my mind this morning. I saw an article about new construction and builders, and I sent it over to you, and that lead, and I just thought it just spoke to that buyers who've got a dream, first-time home buyers. Now's the time to be talking to builders and getting yourself pre-qualified. What were your thoughts on that article?
Well, yeah, thank you for sending it. It was very informative. I enjoyed reading it, and I think it was spot on. Building a home is a very unique thing, and there's, as the article mentions, there's a couple different ways to do it, and it gives you a sense of, like you were talking about in the intro, that the American dream is alive and well, and building a home allows you to make it what you want it to be. And there's, for not everyone knows exactly what they want in a home, and there's avenues for that, and builders can help the buyer navigate those things. And it's a bit overwhelming, I would think, if you do a full custom home, but there are ways to simplify it and make it easier to build your own home. And now that with that article pointed out, with new home prices coming down, I think that will remove a lot of barriers to people that maybe didn't think that they could afford to build their own home. And now that avenue might be more advantageous than buying an existing home. And that's really exciting for me.
Yes. Rich, can you start off with us and just discuss what those different types of building is? Just for those watching, like, are they only thinking custom home? What are the different categories, the different paths someone can take when we're discussing building?
Certainly, as we identified, there are basically 4 different types. There's a spec or a pre-sold home, which is one that the builder builds themselves. And they design most of it, and you buy that home from the builder. The other is a semi-custom home, which is your production builder type product that a builder has a subdivision. You go in and you pick a lot, you pick the floor plan, you pick the finishes, and the builder builds your home. There's a full custom build where you pick your lot, you pick your neighborhood, you pick the plans, you pick an engineer, you pick an architect, and then you pick everything in the home. And so it is a full custom home. And then lastly is you want to build a home, and you're not a contractor, but you're going to own the home. And a lot of states enable you to hire a builder and build your own home. Similar to a full custom, you're responsible for every aspect of it. And that can be exciting for a lot of people or daunting for others.
So, Rich, if I take you back to the first one you mentioned, the spec or the pre-sold allows people to experience the excitement of new construction without managing the emotional pressure of building from scratch, right?
Right.
And I would imagine for many families, a spec home gives them an emotional joy of something new without the exhaustion of making 1,000 different decisions. Would you agree or not? Just expand a little bit more upon that.
Sure. The advantage that you have with a spec home, especially as a purchaser, is that the plan already exists, right? You have an idea. No matter what stage you come in, you can see either the blueprints or they've started construction, depending on where you come in, but you get to see it as it comes to life. And that, I think, is really exciting and advantageous without the headache of you have to pick everything.
Yeah. And the semi-spec that you mentioned as well. People love saying, we helped design this, even if it's only partially, So semi-custom homes, and again, please correct me, allow people to leave fingerprints on their future without carrying the full weight of the construction process, right?
Correct. And usually what you do is you'll see a neighborhood that you like or a subdivision, and there'll usually be a model home, and you get to go meet the builder or the builder's representative. You get to walk through a model home and you say, oh, I really like this. I don't like this. I like this. And the thing that makes the semi-custom really nice is that you have to choose, but you don't have the unlimited options that you often do with a full custom home. And so you get to pick your kitchen cabinet handles from these 20 instead of, these 5 million. And so when it gets down to those minutia details on a home that you have to pick, sometimes with a semi-custom, because your options aren't as broad, it makes it much easier and quicker to make a decision on what you'd like in your home.
And for the custom build, Rich, I like to think of that as creating a legacy, because custom homes are rarely about luxury. They're often about identity, legacy, family vision, lifestyle, and permanence. And so a custom home, how would I word this? A custom home is often the physical expression of somebody's life's journey, values, and dreams. What kind of people have you experienced that go for custom homes?
I think a lot of people that build a custom home really like having their input from every aspect of the build process, from where your lot is to who your builder is to how your home gets designed, and you have full control over that. And
the master closet, just saying.
Yes, the master closet, the master bathroom. Your kitchen, for example, you get full discretion on what you want in your kitchen. If you want a fireplace that goes from the living room and doubles into your bedroom, you can have it. You get to pick whatever you want. And to go back to your question, the people that do it, I mean, you see it all kinds of people, right? It's not necessarily only for an affluent family. You can do it any caliber of home, any size of home can be a full custom home should you choose.
And then finally, we get down to the owner builder. Again, I'd like to know who that sort of attracts, because some people don't just want to own the dream, they want to build it with their own hands, right? Who are the owner builder sort of criteria?
In my experience, the owner builder are your industrious types that really want to be on the ground, boots on the ground. I want to watch my home come to life. And that can be really exciting because you get to live in a home that you designed, you built, you were there for all of it. And I think that would be really rewarding if you can overcome the challenges of obviously coordinating with the various subcontractors that are going to build you actually construct your home, finding a general contractor who's going to manage everything, or you act as your own general contractor.
Woo. That's exciting, right?
And you may not know exactly what you're doing, so you have to figure it out. And there are a lot of people that like doing that. And I think that is fantastic. If you want to do it, power to you. Go do it.
Okay. So Rich, I want to ask a question. Somebody's really looking at this and realizing this is possible. Because I can say, I think there's a narrative that a lot of individuals maybe not even realize is a possibility. I'm going to just find a resale home and that's it. I want a house, I go resale. So what would be those first questions that a buyer should be asking themselves before they even talk to anyone to even see if there's something that's fit?
Yeah, I think, I mean, the biggest challenge with finding a home, in my opinion, are where do I want to live and what can I afford? And if you can narrow down where you want to live, you can research like what new subdivisions are going in. That's a pretty easy thing to find. And then you can go look at the subdivision. You can say, I really like these homes in this subdivision. And you can say, who built them? And if it's a semi-custom builder, you can go find the builder and walk through their design studio. If it's a full custom homes that you like, you can maybe talk to some of your potential neighbors and say, who did you use to build your home? Most people will tell you. You can look at contractors. You can interview contractors if you want. I just think you nail down your budget and where you want to live, and you can find a home that will fit.
How exciting is that? How exciting is that? So I'm going to transition the question to something which is way into your wheelhouse and certainly not mine, Rich. This one-time close construction loans, because simplicity creates peace, right? And in a complicated world, simplicity has become a luxury. Tell us a little bit about one-time close construction loans.
Sure. A one-time close construction loan is you need one loan, and that loan covers your construction and your purchase of the home. And so you don't need to get two separate loans, one to build it and then one to buy it. You just use the one loan and you build your home. And then by the time it's done, theoretically, you own your home. And you go to one closing and you have one loan, and that's what it is. Like you said, it's very simple.
Right. So, yeah. And thank you, Rich, because that reduces obviously uncertainty. It reduces repeated approvals. It reduces extra stress, emotional fatigue, all that kind of stuff. And who are the right people to consider for one-time construction loans? And maybe I'm asking the wrong question. What is the profile of people that have one-time construction loans?
Well, I think a one-time construction loan is really for anyone. I don't think it tailors itself to a particular niche of buyer. I think if you want a one-time construction loan, then you're going to be a little bit more involved in the build process as that type of buyer. And you're going to want to have a little more say in how it's going to go. And you're not necessarily going to hire a builder to build your home. You're going to be more involved.
And it logically leads me now to the next question. If there is a one-time close, then there's clearly a two-time close, right? And custom buyers like that. So please tell us, dreams evolve during construction, and flexible financing allows people room to grow into the vision, right? So tell us a little bit about these two close.
A two-time close is it's a little bit, to me, of a misnomer, because you say, well, it's a two-time close loan. It's one loan, but I close it twice. Why? No, what you do is you get a loan to build the home. And why that is smart is construction is unpredictable sometimes. Things change. You may change your mind. And so you have a loan to build the home, and then you get a loan to buy your home. And so you have to go to the closing table twice. And that's why it's called a two-time close.
Huh. Okay. So I'm getting an education. There is no doubt. So what do consumers, and this might be a general question, but I'm endeavoring to talk about the human side of this as much as I can, Rich, because what do consumers misunderstand most about builders, in your opinion?
Good question.
Most about builders?
Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting question, because I think, and I'll speak personally, I didn't understand how much builders get invested into their product. And I think a lot of people just think they're a home builder. They don't care. They're just here to build the house and turn it and sell it and walk away from me. But I think a lot of builders want to build a quality product. They want the people that buy their home to be proud of the home they built. And the builders do care. And the builders want you to be happy with your home. I don't think that a lot of builders go into the business like, I'm just going to make a buck. I don't care what I'm building. I think most of them really like to build a quality home that people and families are going to enjoy for years.
Right. So,
Okay. Sorry, Roger.
Go ahead.
I want to touch in on this too and ask, because I was joking about the master closet, and especially if you've got, a family, a couple, partners coming together saying we want to build this home. What happens when one of them had maybe some more grandiose ideas and they go over budget? What happens when that happens, especially when you're dealing with building?
Well, let's take that, if we can, and turn it into how that works with a loan. Because it's inevitable, right? You're going to build a home, and if a home takes you 6 to 9 months to build, you're going to change your mind about some things. You may not like the carpet you picked. You may not like the color that you paint. You're going to paint your mudroom. And so with a one-time close, that gets tough, because your costs are fixed to the budget for the loan amount that you picked. On a two-time close, you have some flexibility on changing your mind. And so I think that it's very important that you track your changes and you're very conscious of your budget as you change things, because you may want a thicker pad under your carpet, and a thicker pad requires a different carpet, and those will add up quickly. And so when you want to make changes to your home design, it's your home, it's your prerogative. Just be really mindful of the changes in the cost, because they will add up faster than you think.
My next question, if you're going into where you're viewing the models of the builder's home, a lot of times they have those preferred partners, clearly, and they have those recommended lenders. And I know they will offer, okay, here we go. You've got this lender. We're going to be able to add in A, B, and C. Do buyers see those as like freebies, or what do you recommend that they look at when they make sure that they're finding the best product? Like you're saying, is it a one-time close, a two-time close? What are some of the key things that they need to look at when choosing financing based on what's best for their build, not just because it's best for that builder?
Yeah, I think the average buyer today is pretty savvy. And so when they see, I think you're referring to builder incentives and captive loans for builders, if I'm not misunderstanding your question, Amy. But you need to take a look at what is being offered and do a cost benefit analysis of it, because often builders incentives are really good. And I've seen incentives that say, we'll finish your basement. And that's a $60,000 to $80,000 incentive right there. We'll give you landscaping, which can be a huge expense. And so it depends on where your expertise lies and what really are you looking for as the end consumer. If you get a 2-point buy down on your rate from the builder, that could be really great for your monthly payment.
Sure.
And so it's as individual as each borrower, right? You need to look at it, evaluate your options, and maybe the builder incentive isn't great and you can find a better deal going independent financing, or maybe the builder incentive is really hard to overcome and it's a great incentive and you want to take advantage of it.
Does that 2x loan protect if it does go over? Is that something that then covers that if you go over, if you're doing that 2x loan?
Yes, it does, because the second loan is not it's underwritten on your credit, but your budget will change and you'll have a much better idea once the house is built. How much did it actually cost to build the home? And that's what your second loan is based on. So
when you add the wine cellar in at the last minute, you're going to be able to cover that.
That's right. And you want the jets in your bathtub and the master bathroom.
Yes, I want my custom pool. Exactly.
Exactly.
That's important. I mean, because that happens. I'm glad you clarified that for us. Roger, I want to ask you about the passion from Doug Brady in Southern Utah.
Oh, yeah. I had the pleasure recently of going to Southern Utah and met a builder there who was just so passionate about the homes that he was building. And I know this builder is known to Rich as well. And I love talking to him because I said to him, what keeps you up at night? And without hesitation, this builder just said, because people don't know that I do the right thing even when no one is looking. Oh. I make sure I dot the I's, I cross the T's, my construction, the soundproofing, the wind, the HERS ratings, all these things. And I burst with pride that when I offer my home and I'm offering incentives, it's not because I'm desperate. It's just because I don't want to carry all of that inventory all the time, and it's time to pass it on. But I'm so proud of my homes. So it led me to ask that question: what pressures do builders face that us as buyers never see, Rich?
Right.
Well, and that's a really great point, because it goes back to what I said earlier. I think a lot of builders have a lot of passion for what they're building. And, most people don't, I think, start building a home and wonder, how efficient is this home going to be? How much air is going to move through my home at any given time? You think, what's it going to cost to heat and cool? Sure. But there's a lot of things that go into that from a builder standpoint, on how can I make this home as thermally efficient and energy efficient as possible. And this particular builder places a really high emphasis on that. And it's really fun to see his passion for it, because he's building a quality home.
Yeah. And I suppose we could mention his name, Amy. This is Doug Brady in Southern California. Just superb, and the pride that he shows. Yeah, and that's just superb. And Rich, just changing gears slightly onto the lending angle of this as well. The buyers that you've met, the builders that you've met over the years, are they just interested in rate from their lender, or is there more to it that they want from their lender as they go forward?
Oh, it's I call it a waterfall. They may come in very focused on rate. What is it going to cost me to build this home or get this development going? But as you go through and you peel back the layers and you go down the waterfall, what is the rate? What are the costs of this loan? What is the terms of these loans? How fast can I get my money if I need a draw? And if you can identify, as you talk to the builders, you can really determine by listening what they're really curious about. Because I've seen builders that say, well, this lender is offering me a 7% rate, and I'm just throwing out a number. But it's going to take, I can't get a draw. I can only do 2 draws a month. And that's going to cause delays in paying my subs. This other lender might be 8.5%, but I can do as many draws as I want. I can do one every day if I need to. So I'm never going to have a delay in paying my subs. And that could be an incentive for this particular builder who's less rate sensitive, but more, I want my money fast, versus another builder who it doesn't matter that he can't pay his subs as often, but he's very rate conscious.
From the buyer perspective, do they call the builder or the lender first? Like, if families come together and said, that's it, we're going to do it, we're going to build. Who do they call first, and why?
Good question.
I think a really savvy buyer would talk to their lender first, because that's going to determine how much house you can afford. And it's very easy to fall in love with a house that's outside your budget, because oftentimes they're beautiful and they have things you didn't think you could afford. And then you look at it and you fall in love with it, only to go to your lender and be crushed that you can't get a loan for that home. Mm-hmm. So I think you go talk to your lender, you get pre-qualified, and you have an idea of your ceiling for a home price.
Can we talk about the insecurity that somebody may have of, okay, what happens if this goes on too long? Because things happen or supplies don't come in time. I've got my loan and I have to have it done in X amount of time. Are there different time ratios on the building that the lenders will allow to say, okay, you have X amount of time on this loan? What does that look like, so that when we're locking in that loan, all right, I got this rate, I've got this, but now that builder better get this done in 90 days. What are those options so that they can eliminate that fear?
I think you can solve a lot of that by just talking and finding out the terms ahead of time. And you'll know, because delays are inevitable, supply shortages are inevitable. COVID really highlighted these things. And I think it was really fascinating to be in this industry during COVID to watch how builders and buyers changed their approaches to it. But I think that with a one-time close, you can deal with it if you've structured the loan appropriately, you've built in a contingency, things like that. if you do this, this is where a 2-time close gets simpler, is if there's cost overages or product shortages and the time gets extended, you have more flexibility with a 2-time close than a 1-time close. So those are considerations that you want to take into account before you decide what loan product you want.
And today's lending has accommodated for building, hasn't it? Like, it's not locked people in. Is there more options than people realize?
Yeah. And I can see Roger nodding his head, because the answer is yes. There are so many products out there for lending to help someone buy a home, regardless of the path they choose, of the 4 we identified earlier. There is a ton of products out there, and you just have to do a little research, and you can call Elevated Lending at any time, and we will happily identify them and walk you through them.
How do we support the realtor in this process as well? Because our realtor relationships are so important. How do we support the realtor with the builder and the lender? How do those communities come together to make this as smooth as possible?
Well, realtors will understand your neighborhood. They will understand where you want to buy your home if you hire a realtor that's familiar with the area. And realtors are integral in understanding the market dynamics of home pricing and where they're going and the challenges that particular area would face. And I think if you get your realtor involved early and you tell your realtor as much information as you are comfortable, they can help you make the right informed decision.
Absolutely right. And Rich, do builders in general love and enjoy working with realtors?
That's a good question. I was wondering that too.
I think so. I mean, realtors are, like I said, they're integral, and they help move a builder's home, and they help buyers get into those homes. And so they are the grease of this transaction that helps everything flow and run without squeaks.
Yeah, and you mentioned just earlier, good communications. If there's good communications during the whole process of buying or construction, that builds trust, right? And I would imagine realtors are really good at holding those emotional pieces together, making sure everyone's on the same page. So we all need each other, the lender, the realtor, all that stuff, the builder. Fantastic. Yep.
Yeah, that's very well pointed out. And I think that's probably a weakness in the current system is, I think, lenders, builders, buyers all kind of think that they're not on the same team. And realtors, and it almost seems adversarial, right? Like maybe my realtor's on my side, but the lender isn't and the builder isn't. And we need to back that up and get back to a place where we understand that we need each other. Builders need buyers, and builders need lenders, and lenders need people to buy their homes and take out their loans. We're all symbiotic in this relationship.
Yes.
Right. It is. You're right. It's about people. It's confidence. It's communication, and how we collectively help families build lives. Which leads me to my final question, Rich. How can lenders, us, Elevated Lending, become strategic partners rather than simply loan providers?
Well, I think that the biggest thing that we can do as a lender is listen. We can listen to the builder, and we find out what they need and what they want, and how can we help you be the best builder you can be. And same thing with the buyer. How do we talk to the buyer and identify what they really want and get them to trust that the builder and us, we're all on the same side. We're all going to the same goal.
We've got a great question here from Priscilla. She wants to know, are there any common pitfalls that realtors should help clients avoid early in that process? Thank you.
Yeah, Priscilla, great question. I think that realtors sometimes feel left out of the process, especially in the semi-custom arena, because you're a buyer, you go into a model home and there's a real estate agent there that's employed by the builder, and you talk to them and they'll walk you through what is offered. And a realtor on the buyer side can sometimes feel left out. But I think if a realtor is educated and learns about this builder, what they're offering, what they're doing, and maybe some competitors, they can be really a source of knowledge to the buyers early in that process and help them identify some of those key things that they're looking for.
I love that. I love that. Guys, this is so much fun. Don't we all want to just go build something now?
I know. Rich makes it, the clarity in his thinking is just superb. I love it.
Exactly. Exactly. What's something you want everybody to know today that watch this? Like, I know we're simplifying that, but we're having a great conversation, and it's fun to visualize the home and the customs and the this and the that and getting the financing right, and realtors and builders and loan officers, everybody's going to be holding hands and singing together and making this work perfectly. What is the takeaway that you have for everybody to just be encouraged in this space of taking on a building project?
I think that building a home is much more accessible than it's ever been. And I think that if you have thought about building a home and you want to build a home, now is the time to go build your dream home. Go do it.
Yeah,
I love that.
absolutely right. Absolutely right. So I suppose, Amy, Rich, it all starts with an idea. I want a new home. So you get that idea. What's the next step? It all starts with a conversation. Go and talk to your lender. Go and talk to your realtor. Mm-hmm. Tell them your dreams. They are solutionists. They look for solutions for you. And builders, the builders are not just simply constructing homes, rather they're creating certainty, community, and possibility for families, right?
Absolutely.
Just have that conversation.
I love it. Thank you. You guys, this was so much fun. I know there's going to be times up ahead that we're going to want to dive back into this. If you had questions, if you were watching this and you have further questions, put them in the comments. Wherever you're watching this, listening to this, let us know. You can reach out because we're going to do this again, and we'd love to continue talking about what's taking place in today's building, today's home buying, today's life between those escrows, because that's where the decisions are made. And that's where the relationships are. To all our sales professionals out there, we just love you. We're here to support you, and we're here to continue helping you build those relationships in that community around you to take these opportunities in these awesome categories that we're bringing here today. Thank you for following Between Escrows, and we will see you next time. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Rich.